On Radio 97, time to talk law for this Thursday morning. Our resident lawyer, Despina Priala of boutique law firm Priala Legal in Runaway Bay, with us every Thursday. She brings her legal expertise with her, providing some general advice on the latest hot topics. She has experience that spans more than 25 years in areas including property and commercial law. She prepares wills as part of estate planning and litigation as well. And she's with us right now. Hi, Despina.
Good morning, Wayne. Good morning, Brooke.
Good morning, Despina. Good morning, Wayno. So this morning we're talking about something that Wayne and I know nothing about, but apparently it's on the rise in Australia. So it's called A.T.E insurance, A.T.E. It stands for something and it's not eating, Despina.
Yeah, after a big night at a restaurant, yeah.
What is A.T.E insurance?
Yeah, it's not eating at all. It's after the event, A.T.E, after the event insurance. Fascinating topic, and I wanted to raise it this morning briefly because, look, this show is really all about bringing knowledge to the listeners, and knowledge is power. And I have this little saying, I said it off air to you before, if you never know, you never go. So if you don't know about this, and you don't know about this option that's apparently available in Australia, then you never know, you won't be able to decide, can I take up this option or not, if you find yourself in certain circumstances. So what we're talking about is commercial litigation. Okay, at any level. So after the event insurance, it's a type of commercially available insurance policy. So why it's called after the event is exactly what the name denotes. You can take out the policy after you become aware that you're going to be involved in litigation.
Which is very unusual. Very unusual for insurance. Yes.
Exactly. As compared directly to, and the listeners will understand, motor vehicle insurance, home insurance. So you typically take those covers out at the beginning when you buy a car or when you buy a home. So you have insurance cover from the beginning in the event down the track if you have damage. So you don't take it out after the damage occurs because the insurance company won't cover you, obviously.
I crashed my car. Can I please take out full comp now? Yeah.
Exactly right. So everybody knows that, but this is a different type of insurance cover. So this is purely for commercial litigation, and it is called after the event insurance because you can take it out at any time when you get notice that you're going to be involved in litigation. So you can take it out at any time after the dispute arises, right? So you've got knowledge, you can ring up the insurance company. I'm now involved in a dispute. I want to explore this option of getting insurance cover, or even you can take it out after proceedings in the court have commenced. So hence the name after the event. Now, what we're talking about here is really a tool to minimize your exposure to legal costs. So when you go through litigation, it's not to be taken lightly. Commercial litigation never provides a certainty of outcome. And if anyone's been involved in court matters, they would be aware of that. You sort of roll the dice when you go to court sometimes, because you might have a very good case, but it depends on how the case is presented, your evidence, the judge on the day, their particular views. There's a whole range of factors that could make a big difference. You might have had witnesses that were available, now they're not. So a whole range of factors can play out in litigation. It's a risky affair. So this type of insurance cover is now on the rise, as I understand, in Australia. It has emerged from the UK. So it's been in the UK for some time. It's commonly used in commercial litigation, as I understand, in the UK, and now it's on the rise in Australia. And there's only two companies that provide it, which I can give information off air to anyone interested, but there's only two companies in Australia that offer it at the moment, and it's really evolved from class actions. So when I looked into this policy, that's where it's really come from. As you can imagine, class action suits, and this type of insurance cover has been available in the UK for some time, giving some, I suppose, some comfort or security to people who embark on this litigation, or whether they're sued or being sued, either way. So whether they're instituting proceedings or defending proceedings, right? So it allows them or gives them some security in terms of cost, because the whole point is, if you go into litigation, whether you're defending yourself or whether you're suing someone, you don't know the outcome down the track. And if you are unsuccessful in the action, you will be up for a lot of costs. And you'll also be up typically for the other party's legal costs to a certain degree, 60, 70%, whatever it may be. So how are you going to fund those costs? Hence the after the event insurance policy.
Okay. So what is the catch?
Yeah. Well, let's
The
be
fine
clear.
print,
The
yeah.
fine
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So I haven't read any of these policies. So let's be clear. This is not me advocating for people to just rush out and get this policy. This show is about giving people the knowledge and of matters out there that they need or should be aware of. And then they can decide for themselves, is it right for them or is it not?
Yeah.
So I suspect the terms of such a policy will be quite onerous. I suspect that the premiums will be high. I'll put it out there quite upfront. So that's why you'd need to look into it quite carefully, look at the terms and conditions, certainly go see a broker, certainly go and have a look at what is on offer. I know that certain payment options can be provided as well. So it seems to be quite flexible. So the payment of the premiums can be triggered by certain steps that might be achieved or not achieved in a litigation. And sometimes they can offer a deferred payment so that the premium may be deferred until the outcome of the case.
Point.
So yeah, so it's an interesting option out there. And, if anybody is involved, unfortunately, in a commercial litigation, and I will say unfortunately, because nobody wants to go to court. It's a horrendous ordeal. It takes so long to get an outcome, and the costs can be quite substantial. But if you have to go, you have to go and pursue or defend yourself, ultimately, if that's the case. But it's an option for people to look at. And I think it's certainly a tool for someone to consider to minimize their risk and to minimize their exposure to legal costs. But you really have to look at the fine print, as you say, look at the terms and conditions. What are those terms? What are the onerous terms, if I can call it that, because they most likely will be? What's the payment? What's the premium? What am I going to be up for? And you've got to look at that versus the risk of not taking it out, I suppose. And that's where you have to look at your own financial situation and what you can and cannot afford.
So it's not for everyone, obviously.
It is not for everyone, no. But certainly I wanted to let people know it's an option now in Australia, and it's on the rise. So us as lawyers, really, I think we have an obligation to advise our clients who may be embarking on commercial litigation that, hey, did you know that this is an option? Go and explore it. See if it suits you, if it works for you.
Since only 2 companies in Australia are offering it at the moment, do you predict that it could become more popular?
I think so. With the rise of class actions, as you would know, we've had some class actions last year and certainly this year, or the potential for class actions, which has been in the media of late. So I think that would be right. It may take 5 years or longer, but certainly it'll be on the rise, yes.
Well, there you go. A.T.E Insurance. Thank you so much, Despina. Coming up next, if you're a pet owner and rent or a landlord in Queensland, there has been a change to the law. Despina has all the details coming up on Talking Law in just a moment.